Warning, the following video may contain adult language and themes. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you have a problem with this, please stop playing this video now. Good evening, horror movie fans. I just got done watching Day of the Dead, released in 1985. You know, I just make these videos because I want to, talk about these movies after I see them, because, if I don't talk about them, then I just forget about them, and, I just forget I ever watched the movie. So I need to do this while it's still fresh in my mind. So it was directed by George A. Romero and written by George A. Romero. Day of the Dead, 1985. I believe it was rated R. The version I watched was probably unrated. It has a 7.2 on Internet Movie Database, and I didn't recognize any of the people that starred in it. Um, Basically, I'm going through a zombie marathon here, and this is a pretty famous one probably because it was directed by the famous George A. Romero. I don't know much about him, but I hear that he's big in the zombie movie industry. And so I may be treading on sacred ground here. But to give you my spoiler free review, I thought this was okay. There's in the beginning there's not a lot of zombie fighting or zombie slashing or what have you. There's not a lot of zombie attacks. Um I guess this is going into spoilers, but it's basically about these people in a bunker. Minor spoilers. People in a bunker who are it, I think they're the last remaining people, on Earth, and there's all these zombies. I would say these zombies they're about as powerful as the zombies in the movie I just reviewed. What was the movie I just reviewed? It's something of the dead. I think it was, Night of the Living Dead, the one I just reviewed, the remake. They're about as powerful as that in this movie, maybe a little bit more powerful. So again, they're not really that much of a threat. They trot along, they slowly shammer along. You can kill them by shooting them in the head. Um, I don't remember how quickly they convert you after they bite you. I don't remember. I don't know if anybody was converted. Somebody probably was, but so yeah, the zombies aren't. I think it's just the fact that there are so many of them in this movie that makes them deadly. But like I said, for a long time, there's really no zombie action. In the end, there's some zombie action, but most of what I remember is just very heated conversations between the last remaining people on Earth. And these people are just so dramatic and so off the wire. It's it makes me wonder how these people survive this long when they're so at each other's throats. There's a constant battle between the research team and the military team, and they're always at each other's throats. The main bad guy for the military team is this commanding officer. I don't know what rank he was, but he's really a dick, and he's basically really trigger happy, really impatient, really argumentative. On the research side, I think the main character is this lady who's, I think, a research scientist or something. I don't think she's military, but yeah, she's your typical hot female lead. So what would I give this out of 10? I would probably give this, based purely off of what I saw and not off of George A. Romero's reputation, which I hear is very widely held in the horror community. I would have to give this probably. I would probably have to give this a 6 point, a 6.6, I guess, maybe. So, I mean, I don't want to. Probably a 6.5. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I mean, I just really didn't get into this movie. Up until the final battle where okay, I'm going to get into spoilers. That's basically my review. 6.5. I really wasn't that impressed. I thought it was a little bit above average. The really talky parts where there was no fighting or anything were really annoying because these people were way too dramatic and way too at each other's throats, and it just wasn't believable. It's like, how the fuck did these people survive this long when they're that unhinged? Everybody's unhinged almost, I remember. But yeah, I'm gonna get into spoilers now. Basically, the there's a doctor when they're in this bunker. There's this doctor who's experimenting on zombies. I thought this was kind of a cool part. He was trying to domesticate them or something, or figure out how to control them, because they obviously can't kill them all because they don't have enough bullets. Um, and then so he's training a zombie, and he's called Bob or something, and he's like training Bob to be nice. It's really funny. But like what ends up happening is the military guys are getting really impatient. They're like, we want to see results, or we're not going to keep these zombies, caged up down here in this bunker to experiment on. We need results. And so the Frankenstein doctor's like, I'll get you results. We're working on it. And the military guy discovers that the Frankenstein guy is feeding this zombie the dead soldiers that die or something. I don't think the Frankenstein guy killed the soldiers. He's just stealing the corpses instead of burying them in the graves and feeding them to his zombies. And so the colonel, like, or whatever, gets like flies off the hook and just shoots the Frankenstein doctor guy, and it just this battle ensues between like the scientists and the military people. So basically, they're their own enemy, and that's when it starts to get good, really. And it's kind of interesting because the Frankenstein guy taught the zombie, his pet zombie, to shoot a gun, and he ends up killing the colonel in the end. I think it's kind of charming in a kind of sick sort of way because he avenged this Frankenstein master. But yeah, I just didn't get into this one. Maybe it's a classic, but um, the ending was pretty good, but it wasn't anything special. And the talky parts in the beginning really weighed it down. The people were way too overdramatic. Like every character in this movie was basically the hot-headed Italian guy in. Gotta keep forgetting that movie's name. Night of the Living Dead, the remake. Basically, every character is like that hot-headed Italian guy who's just like, oh, up in your face, and he's like, oh, what's that supposed to mean? And they're all just like jammering away at each other instead of trying to find solutions. And so yeah, that's basically my review. And what is up with this movie? This movie really had like the colonel, like the lady research scientist who's the main character for the research scientist had like this boyfriend who's like Mexican, and like man, geez, the military people really didn't like him, and they were, I think, jealous of him because he had pretty much the only surviving female in the world as his girlfriend, and they're probably sex-starved military people, and they kept calling him like racial slurs. They called him yellow. Like really, Hispanic people are yellow. Anyway, but and they use racial slurs for Hispanic people, and it was just, geez, why the and and they did call there was a black character, and they did call him a racial slur too, but it wasn't nearly as pronounced as the Hispanic guy. It's like, geez, what is up with these guys? And like, they're particularly like gunning for this Hispanic guy. They're like, what the fuck? Anyway, I don't know if the George A. Romero kind of has. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. Anyway, but yeah, I'd probably say 6.5. I mean, in my opinion, that's even being generous. I don't think this movie was really that good. Like I said, sorry if it's a classic, but yep, that's my review of Day of the Dead, released in 1985. Thank you.